Hi, everybody. Mark from Cinemondo coming to you live from my corner of my, bedroom, which is, my little studio. I hope you hear the birds in the background. We have a little bit of an aviary here, along with dogs and lizards and fish. So someday I'll do a tour of the zoo here. Um, Thanks so much for joining me. Thanks for being, watching the Cinemondo YouTube channel. Kathy, Burke, Amit, Melanie, everybody that's part of our little, world. Really appreciate you listening and watching us. And and I enjoy doing these little reviews. These are usually films or TV shows that we're not necessarily going to talk about, when we all get together, but something I've seen and want to comment on. And this one is a film that is currently streaming called Speak No Evil. And it's the Americanized version of the Dutch film from just 2 years ago, 2022, which was actually a Danish Dutch co production. And it was very well received with this really intriguing ending. This is 2 years later, written and directed by James Watkins, starring James McAvoy, Mackenzie Davis, Aisling Franciosi, Scoot McNairy. And it's the same story, but with a completely different ending. So if you haven't seen either one of them, I'm going to tell you the ending. So, spoilers. Let me get the spoiler banner up because you guys might not be interested in the spoiler zone. There we go. Everybody dies at the end. No, it's not true. This one, the story, you've seen the trailer, sort of gives away the whole film. But if you're not familiar with it, it's this American family that's moved to London, is on vacation somewhere in Europe. And it's a husband, wife, and a daughter who has a little animal, a little stuffed animal that really is important to her. She gets really panic attacks and high anxiety if she doesn't have that. It comes into play later in the script. But the marriage is sort of rocky, and they've moved to London because of a job for the husband. But then the job falls through, so they're in a stressful situation. But they go on holiday, and they meet this British couple played by James McAvoy and Aisling Franciosi, and they have a young son who doesn't have a tongue, or has a shortened tongue and can't talk. They get along swimmingly well on vacation. They have a great time, and McAvoy's family says, "Hey, we have a great place in the middle of nowhere. Come over and visit us in the countryside. Get away from London." They do. And this is travel horror, where you realize you don't really know people very well, and you're going to spend like a long weekend or even longer with them, and you realize maybe this is not what I wanted to do. It sounded great in theory, but in reality, it's weird because we don't really know these people that well. And what happens in the rest of the story is how this family Mackenzie Davis plays a strong wife and mother, and she starts realizing that why these people are acting strange. They're sort of like trying to parent our daughter. They're saying weird things. We're catching them in lies. And so that unease starts to set in, and you as a viewer feel that unease. And in the original version, you felt it also. So it's not the most comfortable watch, because you're like, oh, just get out of there, just leave. And they try, and things happen, and they don't, and then they can't, and it turns into scary stuff. Now here's the ending. There's a big difference now in the Dutch-Danish film, a 2022 film. At the end, there's this battle between the good couple, the innocent couple, and this other couple that does this regularly to people for money, for try to steal their money, try to get their bank accounts, and then they kill them. And in the 2022 version, They do. They get away with it again because they are professionals. They know how to do this. They have the setup. They're in their house. They're in their element. They have the surprise, and they do. And that's how the film ends. And the reality in that situation is probably that's how it would happen. You're going on vacation, you're in a strange place. You don't bring, guns with you or weapons. You're just coming for a vacation. They have all that, and they have the upper hand, and they know the secrets of the place. Even if you start figuring it out, even if you try to leave, there are ways that they can keep you here, keep you there. In this remake, early on, or maybe, they say, listen, let's get out of here. And they take off and they get, maybe a couple miles away. And of course, that they have to go back. And they have to go back because the daughter left her, her very important stuffed animal back there. And so she starts panic attacking, can't breathe and stuff. So they go back, and they can't leave because, all these other things happen. And they say, oh, maybe we overreacted, this and that. But at the end of this film, the new version, there's a battle between the good guys and the bad guys. And in this version, because it's the Americanized version, the good guys win. Now, I like the good guys to win. I'm okay with that. I like happy endings, just like the rest of them. But to change it this way is, I think, does a disservice to the story because it's not super realistic that that's what would happen. Um, it strains credulity, as they say. I don't think that could happen. It just couldn't. But this sort of couple, the American couple that visits, McAvoy and Franciosi. I can't remember the characters' names right now, but they don't have the ability to fight. They don't have the ability to use weapons and stuff, but yet they get away. And I'm curious to think what people thought of that ending. I didn't like it, not because I don't like happy endings and the good guys winning. It's just it turns the movie into something else, and it doesn't fly. It takes what is a really interesting, realistic story, which is really the first hour and 20 minutes, and then turns into this sort of thriller action thing that just doesn't quite pass the smell test. I'm interested to see what you guys think about that, because I think in the first film, which I watched, it's totally like it's a bummer, but you go, yeah, that's probably what would happen in this situation, and it happened countless times before because they see that they see a bunch of watches, a bunch of wallets, all this kind of stuff or photos from past experiences with other families that never made it out of there. Hard to believe that they can make it out of there, but they do. So if you didn't see the first one, the 2022, you just watch this and take it for what it's worth. Since I watched the original, it's always you're coming in from a different perspective. And the perspective is they change the ending. And it's just, I think overall, it makes the film suffer a bit. That's my feeling. But watch it. It is streaming on Peacock, and if anything else, the great performances. McAvoy is just evil as hell in this. Mackenzie Davis is strong and really good. Scoot McNairy is with a tough role, sort of playing this sort of like milquetoast husband. Does a great job with it. And Aisling Franciosi is this sort of like, you don't know where she stands in all of this, and she's quite good. So performance is good. Everything about it is quite well done. It's well produced, well made, well shot. I'm just kind of futzing around with the ending, and as they say, how a movie ends is really how you feel about the film overall. A great ending can make up for a lackluster film, whereas a poor ending to an excellent film otherwise can hurt it. So that's my take. Anyway, as always, it's fun to chit chat and talk about it, talk about movies and TV shows. More stuff coming from me. I'm just watching all kinds of stuff. I just watched Apartment 7A. That's coming up soon. That's the prequel to Rosemary's Baby. So stay tuned for that. Okay, everybody. Thanks. Take care.